Welcome back. This is Sports Zone on Joy Prime. We are on from now till 10:30 p.m. My name is Fenty Tahir. Fenty. The show is proudly sponsored by Game Energy Drink, which is produced by Piva Beverages, one of the best energy drinks, if not the very best energy drink in the market. And also by Guinness, sponsors of our Matchday segment with Guinness Smooth and Guinness Foreign Extra Stout. Let me introduce my guest. Sichofe Philip Achrim is here, and I've brought in Lawrence Baidu, making his debut on the show. My friend, how you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, with the reason we've brought you here today is very important. Sicho,
yeah,
we've replaced a slim man with a slim man.
Yes, the value is the
same. Listen,
welcome.
Thank you, bro.
When it comes to women's football on our desk, Lawrence is the one that covers all of our women's football. He was in Morocco, for the women's AFCON when they won bronze. So he's been with these women, these girls, all this time up until now. So if you're looking for the person with all the filler and all the right information about what happened today or the past 3 days with the Black Queens, he's the right person for the job. That's why we've brought him here. We've done a little bit of a substitution. So just pay attention and listen to everything that's been going on as far as the Black Queens are concerned. So what do we know? Before I bring in Lawrence. Sicho, what we know is they played a game on Thursday against Egypt. This was the qualifying, in fact, last round of qualifying for the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. That competition would also be hosted by Morocco, just like this year's edition was hosted by them. Great. They played on Thursday. They won the game comfortably by 3-0. Flew to Accra on Friday, with the return leg expected to happen on Tuesday. So they were supposed to train Saturday, Sunday. They didn't train on both of those days because they say the ministry owes them bonuses from the WAFCON tournament, which they played in July of this year in Morocco and won bronze. This is what we know so far, that they are owed 9,500 from their bronze medal campaign at the WAFCON. And that tournament happened in July of this year. The tournament, of course, was a competition where they were promised $15,000 per game. They qualified through the group stages by winning one match. And then they won, they played 3 knockout rounds, which all went into penalty shootouts. But the ministry decided that because they were qualifying along the way, they would now pay each game as if it was a game one. Yeah. So then you multiply that by 6, you get to 1,500 by 6 games should give you 9,000, okay? Then the minister engaged them, of course. They had a meeting and then no conclusion. And then the player said, pay our money or else we're not going anywhere. We know that this is not the first time. There was a 2016 one after they won gold in the African Games. In fact, in the Women's Championship, this one too, they won bronze. And before that year, they had won African Games gold in 2015. They had to do demonstration. Then 2024, before the Zambia game, if you remember, they also Olympic qualified. They said they will not play unless they pay the money. We paid the money. So these things have been going on. But let me bring in Lawrence now and ask Lawrence. Lawrence, how exactly did we get here? And what's been happening? What are the players saying? What did the minister say? How did they end up boycotting 2 training sessions? And how did they end up changing their mind? And they basically seem like they've had the whole nation on a lockdown.
I mean, I would want to start from everything that happened in Egypt.
Yes.
Right from Egypt, we know the team traveled without anybody from the ministry. No one from, no
purse
holder.
The purse holder was not there?
Nobody from the ministry. No purse holder. So right from Egypt, they started fighting for their bonuses. Even before some of them came down, they had mentioned the fact that they needed to be paid whatever was due them from their performance in the WAFCON. Because from that period that the WAFCON concluded, we see the Black Stars come in and play their qualifiers and also, go. So it took the ministry, or it took the GFA to come and settle per diems in Morocco and in Egypt.
While they were playing the tournament?
Yeah. No, while they were playing the qualifier against Egypt.
You mean just this recent? Okay.
Exactly. It took the GFA to come in and to settle those per diem before the ministry had whatever they had to do. So right from Egypt through to Accra, they knew the plan they were coming in with to fight for their money. So fly to Accra, do a recovery session on Friday. The moment they landed, they knew there's supposed to be a recovery session later in the day. They decided not to go. And this was a decision, taken by the whole of the team. It's not as if the leadership has decided to communicate this. It's the whole of the team who decided to go ahead with this decision. And then the players also, they carry on with it. It was as if it was a joke because, after recovery, the next thing is to do the training. But then the reports started coming out that these players have threatened to boycott training. And there you have kids going in first time. You have Anthony Bafo going in also to speak to them. And the next thing you see on Anthony Bafo's Instagram page is the fact that he's standing with the girls. So he
takes their position.
Exactly. He got a clear message what the girls were sending around and decided to also get along. And then what follows next is the minister also goes in there to have a conversation with them. So from my checks, there were 6 people in the meeting. There are 3...
Just hold on. The minister's meeting with them was on Sunday night.
Yes.
Last night. And he went into this meeting with officials of the GFA.
Yeah.
The president, the national team's coordinator.
Yeah. And then the 3 captains.
And then 3 captains of the national team, Black Queens. So Portia Boache, Jennifer Kujo, and Cynthia
Collins.
Okay.
So,
these 6 people met in a room.
Yes.
What happened in that meeting last night?
It was the minister went in to plead for the girls to play the game. The girls were still insisting on their bonuses because they felt, it had taken time enough for them to get their bonus. So in the course of the meeting, they asked, the minister, tries to give them a background of what the government has done for them since coming in. They also tried to let them, yes, we understand whatever you've done for us, but now when is the money coming in? Yes. And that was the question that was put to the minister. And the minister had, he had no answer to that. And
so they wanted a commitment of when the monies would be paid.
Yeah.
But the minister couldn't tell them exactly when the money could be paid.
And that is where the case of the boycotting comes in. From the communication.
By which point, by Sunday night, just so that people can follow along.
Yeah.
By Sunday night, they had already boycotted 2 training sessions before the minister.
The recovery and then the first training session on Saturday. So it was at that point that things were getting heated. And then the minister was trying to explain to them that if they don't play the game, which will mean that there will be a sanction.
Yeah.
And the sanction will be a 2 years ban. And then what he was, the explanation the minister gave, he said what it will mean is that Ghana Black Queens come into play again in 2 years' time, which by then, some of them will have their careers over and it will be the next generation to play.
So he basically was giving that information out to them as some sort of a warning that if you don't play the game, we could be banned. Yeah. And if we are banned, by the time the ban is lifted, you might not even be around to play for the Black Queens anymore.
Exactly.
And you don't want that sort of history around your name.
Exactly.
So this was his angle. So where did we start to get reports that the minister said or told the players in the meeting that they can decide to boycott the match, or if they won't play, they should pack their bags and go home?
I think that is the communication that we need to get right. That is the communication that some of the players have to come out and prove to us. Because from whatever indication that has gone around, they are unhappy with the way the meeting with the minister ended. And if you speak to sources or if you speak to people inside and people around the minister, they all agree to the fact that there was no conclusion in that meeting and things got heated. So as to whether what was said and what happened, we are yet to confirm that. But we know there was a heated moment in that meeting which took place on Sunday night between the minister and then the Black Queens.
So so if I get Lawrence right, Sicho, he's saying that he, with all his sources, cannot confirm that the minister indeed told the players to pack up their bags and leave. And the minister himself has said that he never made any such statement. He spoke to Asempa this morning. In fact, we spoke to him on Joy FM as well. And this is what he said. It was a telephone interview. Listen to him clearly.
And I told
So that's the sports minister explaining on Asempa FM about what transpired in the meeting. He also went on to deny that that he never said that they should pack their bags and go home. Let's move it on then. I'll bring Sicho on. So Sicho, you hold on with your thoughts. He said when they asked them to go and train, the players looked at their faces and told them they wouldn't train. But we know they've trained.
Yeah.
What happened before they went to train?
So I got to the team hotel today. I mean, as early as 9:30 thereabouts, I was there. And when I got there, guess what? The national team coordinator, Alex Asante, and Okraku, who's the president of the GFA, had already been in the team hotel, having a conversation with the team, trying to get them to reach...
Rescind their decision.
Exactly, whatever they had decided not to. So at that moment, the confirmation we had was the fact that they had agreed to do a physical session with the fitness coach later in the day at 1 p.m.
Okay.
And then as the day went on, we also got a confirmation that the team had agreed to train have their mandatory training at the Accra Sports Stadium. What they were, however, not backing down is that they were still fighting for their bonuses. And not even the fact that they were going to train will let them, communicate that we are toning down or we are slowing down on our fight for the bonuses. They still continue to communicate that they are fighting for these bonuses. And then later in the day, former, I won't say former, Black Stars International, Andre Ayew comes into the fold to speak to the team. Okay. And in his speech with the team, he had everybody available at his disposal except the technical staff. So all the players were there, and then the communications director of who controls
the Queens,
Matilda, also in attendance. And his communication was to tell the girls whatever they are doing, he can't conclude that it is right or it is wrong. Yeah. He cited the example of the 2014 experience when the Black Stars, demanded their bonuses before they play in the World Cup at some point, also as an example. Yeah. But what he made them aware that he's been there before. He understands whatever they are going through. But one thing they need to remember is that they are playing for the nation. So that should come first. But they, however, shouldn't forgo whatever is due them. They should continue fighting. In as much as you are trying to honor or you are trying to play for the nation, you still need to fight for whatever is due you, because it is work that you have put in. Indeed. It's a result of your effort that you have done some months ago, and he doesn't see why they should forgo it. So he encouraged them to fight for whatever is due them. And then at 4:30 p.m., the team leaves the team hotel to then go to the Accra Sports Stadium to train. In attendance was the GFA president, who welcomed in, ushered them in nicely. They started training. He
was handing out handshakes.
Yeah.
Cicho's favorite part. When I rolled the footage, we have visuals from the training session today. Lawrence,
so he ushered them nicely. The team had training session. Everyone was available to train. All the technical team members were there to guide the team throughout the training session.
And they look to be in good spirit. This is Jama session. This is from this evening, right?
Yeah, this was from this evening after the training. So some of the national supporters, were there to cheer them on. Regardless of whatever they were going through, they understand the fact that they need to motivate themselves, even in all of the fights that was going on. So it was what you see them doing on your screens. Training session ended. Had a few media people around. What the media person of the Black Queens didn't do was to avail some of the players for interview. But
Which
the
is
coach,
what I wanted to happen.
Unfortunately,
some of them need to speak up for themselves.
Not at this time.
Why not?
If you can't control the narrative, it's a great job by... The media would want the players.
That's what
the communication head would know that this is not the right time.
Done the right.
So he wouldn't put the players under that. So it's great job by her.
Yeah. So what we had was came looking ahead to the game. Obviously.
What did he make of all this? The coach.
He never mentioned during the preview of the game, but what if you can tell from his reaction at the team hotel right through the team began training, you can look at him and think he's a man who is very frustrated. Yeah. And at the point when he was communicated to the girls that the girls had agreed to train, there was a sigh of relief. It tells you of a man that has gone through a lot in the last few days, all of the pressure. And I want to say this: it's not just the players who are being owed.
It's everyone.
Everyone in that team is being owed.
Lawrence, let's hear from the coach. You spoke to him after training today.
On the pitch again, of course, to do the final preparation for an important game against Egypt. We have put ourselves in a good situation, of course, with the 3-0 win, but it's just like halftime, so we need to finish and close this door now.
Does that first leg, the 3-0 win against them, does that put you, of course, on a certain level? But how are you looking to provide consistency from the team?
Like we said, it's a good result, but this is our home game, and we want to win in the front of our fans. So we want to do everything we can to win the second game as well. But most important, of course, in the total to win and go to the next WAFCON. I mean, it's.
Came last ball kicker. Sicho, your turn now. You've been listening very quietly and reflecting. Quite the soap opera.
Yeah, it's disturbing, really, because around this time, you want the team to focus on the game, go in there and do the job. But I have a general problem when players now have to stand up and have to fight for what is due them. I think that the players are being managed by a football association. If there is any fight, we should be seeing it from the football association. We need to isolate the players from that, put them in a bubble, let them focus on the game. The FA should give them their word that they are working on that. So we should be hearing that the GFA and the ministry are having a heated meeting over bonuses. We never hear that. It's almost as if the GFA sits aloof and are pinching players to take the initiative of that. And I think it's quite disturbing. I think the FA should be the one taking this conversation. We've got their management committee, on their ESCO, we've got a rep who basically oversees women's football as a mouthpiece for them. We never hear them around this time. Why do the players who have to focus on training have to now come up and then have to deal with this? Because if the FA is isolating the players or isolating them, the players can say, we'll train, we'll play our game, but you are managing us. I mean, you are the
kicked against it, and they've insisted that it's important, so they have to do their job.
Yeah. I mean, you're the sports editor of the Joy Sports Desk. If your team have got an issue with management will be expecting that you channel that, and you're expecting the boys to go and work.
If Lawrence goes to Morocco, I have to fight for his per diem.
You have to fight for his per diem. Lawrence doesn't care how you get the money because you're the head. I'm expecting that from the GFA. I don't think that the GFA president and the ministry going to meet the girls over the money is the right way to go. I want to see the GFA president going to the ministry to go and demand those things. The problem, however, is they want to be politically correct. They don't want to be the ones having to confront the ministry because they don't want to fracture relationships. But you're asking these girls to lose focus of what is really important to then fight for that. And I think that's the wrong place to start. Again, I'm never a big fan of anybody. It doesn't matter whether it's under 18, under 20, under 15, under 2, under 1, under 0, under -10. Who's a national team sports person or on national team assignment who would boycott it or hold a country to ransom when it's got a duty to be done. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the ladies saying they're not going to train or they're not going to train. Maybe then even boycott the game. When a Black Star did it in 2014, I chastised that behavior and character. And in 2025, I'm not going to change my mind on that. I think that when you turn up in the national team with all the challenges that comes with it, the primary job must be done. I think most of the other things comes with the job that is to be done. But that also speaks to a peculiar problem we've got in Ghana. And the fact that women's football is still very lacking, is still lacking. And I can understand the frustration of the ladies. Because the Black Stars came to town, they played their World Cup qualifiers, and we've not had any issues on bonuses, right? And the ministry has been silent on why, when it comes to men's football, the Black Stars, let's not say men's football, because even under 23, under 20 for men also struggle for bonuses.
To be fair, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So just
also,
Black Stars.
So just Black Stars.
Because under 20s from Egypt, our first team, have still not been paid.
They've still not been paid.
Bonuses, per diems.
And even under 17s who qualified for the AFCON recently.
Yes, absolutely. So it is not necessarily the Black Queens or women football that is having the issue, and that is why I want to put that clearly.
Any team other than Black Stars.
It's any team other than the Black Stars, and that is why all the other teams are getting frustrated. But even more so the Queens, because they are the equivalent of the Black Stars from the women's side. So if you can get that done for the Black Stars, why not them? And the ministry didn't necessarily clarify why it is easy to get the money for the Black Star players, no matter how expensive it is, and how it is difficult to get the money for the Black Queens when we know that it's not even 10% of what the Black Stars earn or amount of money they use when they are in town. So it's frustrating. And so we need to find a way to deal with these things. But then again, look, the whole conversation about the minister asking the ladies not to play, to leave the camp if they're not going to play, I think the minister spoke. Yeah. We've not necessarily heard from the ladies who were in the meeting. We've heard the rumors. They've not come out to confirm it. Before we came on air, a statement was released by the Ghana Football Association debunking that notion that the minister had said that. And if the minister had said that, I would be very disappointed. But the fact that now issues and statements are coming out that he didn't say that, means that something can still be salvaged, the relationship can still be salvaged, then maybe then he can go in and work and get the girls what is due them. But it is the long-term thing that we do about this situation that, for me, it's important. They can pay these ladies today, they can pay them tomorrow, but I guarantee you that when another team, other than the Black Stars, or another team in any other discipline of sports goes to another competition or qualifies us to any other majors, they'll still be coming back to this place. We need to find a finality to how we fund our national teams, how we pay these monies, and then get the players to focus on what the job is.
Brilliantly put.
I think we are all looking forward to maybe the players speaking. But then again, we have to go back to somewhere 2016 when some of these players who turned up to be very active and be very loud in some of these matters were victimized.
Yeah.
I can speak to the case of someone like Elizabeth Adu Amapeli, who has been victimized over this. Some of the. It is one thing that puts the fear in some of these girls to come out.
We barely spoke about friendly matches. It wasn't even competitive.
Exactly.
That's why I have a problem with the FA not fronting this, because we've got history. It's not only football, even in athletics. How many athletes have we not had in this country complain? When they speak, they know that their careers are done.
They get in trouble.
So the association needs to protect these players. They have a genuine concern. They won bronze. Ghana had not been to the WAFCON for so long. What they did was historic, right? And then they come back, their monies are being owed them, their per diems have to be settled by the FA according to Lawrence's report. So the FA now needs to front.
That's not the FA's duty.
It's not the FA's duty, but they have to step in. So I'm saying that in this case, step in as well. Just get the girls...
Calm the waters.
Get the girls to focus on the job that is to be done. Because at the end of the day, they've now agreed to go and play. But the 2 or 3 training sessions that they've missed, will it come costly?
If it's against Egypt, it might not be. But against a much tougher opposition,
absolutely,
the situation could play out differently. Yeah. And if you remember correctly, when they boycotted a couple of training sessions or were too focused and fixated on paid bonuses ahead of the game against Zambia in what was a crucial 2024 Olympic Games qualifier, they ended up losing that first leg at home at Accra Sports Stadium by 1-0. And there were many people that alluded to the fact that they, instead of focusing on the game,
distraction.
They were, they said the whole bonus issue was a distraction. Yeah. They got their money then. They did put up a good fight in the return leg, but in the end, obviously, Ghana didn't qualify. And there were those that believed that perhaps if the full focus was on the game, they probably would not have lost that game at home. So that is to buttress what Sisho is saying, that sometimes it's important for other people to step in and create that bubble so that the players can focus solely on the football instead of being advocates and being protesters at the same time footballers. And I find this very sad because the last time, as Sisho mentioned, we hadn't been to the WAFCON since we got kicked out in the group stages in 2018. The last time we won anything at the WAFCON, you have to go back to 2016, when, again, at that time, we won bronze. And guess what? That particular competition also resulted in protests.
Yes.
Over bonuses.
The list had to match to the ministry.
And we didn't hear anything when we got kicked out in the group stages in 2018. Mm-hmm. It only happens when we've been successful. This is what I don't understand. That's what I don't get. In fact, we had back-to-back years. In 2015, we were gold medalists at the African Games. Yeah. In 2016, we won bronze. And till date, there are members of that squad that still insist that they did not settle all their bonuses from 10 years ago. And this also happened at the time when President John Dramani Mahama was actually in power. So I don't understand why this is repeating now, because they should have learned their lessons. From every indication, President John Dramani Mahama has learned his lessons over so many things from when he left power in 2016 till now. He's resetting a lot of things. I don't understand why this one remains an albatross. Because when they came back from the WAFCON bronze medal winning performance, they went to meet the president. He spoke very nicely and handed them an undisclosed cash prize. I can disclose here that the money was 500,000 Ghana cedis. Yes. You understand? That he gave them. If in that meeting, the president had just, instead of handing them a gift of 500,000, ordered for their bonuses to be paid, we would not be here. And what's the difference between those bonuses and how much he gave them? That probably, now he would have to pay all the bonuses again. Maybe at that time, if he had just paid the bonuses, that $50,000 or 500,000 Ghana cedis would have been saved. Yeah. And that gift would not have been necessary. Sometimes taking decisive action at the beginning, in the long term, ends up saving you money. This is not a big deal. This can be settled. I have picked up indications that the president has ordered for the immediate release of the funds. The minister said all approvals had been done, right? They were now just waiting for the finance ministry to order the accountant general to credit the ministry's account, and then they'll pay the players. Let's do that and get this out of the way, because this competition is critical. Why? If we beat Egypt, which I expect them to do tomorrow, they qualify for the WAFCON next year in Morocco. That competition will be the qualifying event for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup.
Yeah.
We have not qualified for the Women's World Cup since 2007. That is a long time. So 2027 to 2027 is 20
decades.
years.
Yeah, 2 decades.
That's how long it's been. And it's important for us to get back to that particular pedestal. That's where we belong. If this year's competition was a qualifying event for a World Cup, we would have qualified.
Would have made it, yeah.
So
Unfortunately.
it means that the girls have the potential.
And it's the same team is going to get
Thank
better.
you.
The manager
to
is
qualify
there.
for the World Cup. So we have a massive opportunity. Let's not ruin it. What is the game? Time.
3:30 at the Accra Sports Stadium.
3:30 p.m. Accra Sports Stadium. Let's go there, support the girls. But the government, the minister, please let's do the right thing so that we can all stop shouting. Thank you very much, Lawrence. Fantastic delivery. I want to talk about Kumasi Asante Kotoko now because, you know, they suffered a 5-1 defeat at the hands of Wydad Athletic Club in Casablanca. That game was played on Friday. It was the second leg of the CAF Confederation Cup competition. They had lost the first leg at home by 1-0. And then they lost 5-1. So that, in the end, was a 6-1 aggregate battering that Kotoko received at the hands of Wydad. But that wasn't the big news. The big news was that just hours after the game, Kotoko announced that their top striker, Albert Amoa, was being transferred to Libya. No one knows how much. We've seen some figures. Some people believe the figures are not great, or the figures are cooked. I don't really care. What's important is Albert Amoa is gone. There he is. He's been by far Kotoko's best player in the last 18 months to 20 months. The fans are understandably livid because they felt like this is a star player that could lead them somewhere. And it's even more painful because there were some Kotoko fans that believed that this guy represented a genuine opportunity for them to have a player in the Black Stars team. And they started an interesting campaign that is now all gone poof into the air. Sisho, I mean, management has come out fighting.
Yeah.
They're saying that, where did you expect that to get money to run the club? And so we need to sell players. It's very important. But the fans say, but timing is awful. What did you make of the whole situation?
It's a difficult one. I understand the fans. The fans always want to have their best players still at the club because Albert Amoa, as you said, it's been their best player in the last couple of months. He's banging in the goals, creating chance, assisting. And it's good to watch on the ball. Yeah. You know, it's a very good football.
Very active. Very
active. Energy.
Energy. Very mobile.
So yeah, you can understand why the fans who like to go to the stadium to see him, want to watch the games of Kotoko to see him are agitated. Because then they are now looking at a season that started, you're selling one of your best players when you can't necessarily replace the player. And also what caught them by surprise was there were no rumors about the transfer. You know, when rumors start coming up that a player is likely to leave the club, your mind, your heart starts preparing for that news. But the news came right after the big disappointment of the WAC game.
I was shocked.
Everybody was stunned. And I love that. In the days of the Fabrizio Romanos or the transfer journalists,
right.
No team is able to get a deal done before.
Even Mo
Shaban didn't have that information. Mo Shaban would have been dropping that.
Even Mo Shaban was stunned.
I love it. I like but I can understand the Kotoko fans because you've lost a game heavily, and then right after that,
you lose your best player.
The one thing that makes you feel like you've got a good team, your best player is gone. So from the fans, I can feel how they feel. However, the fact of the matter is, Kotoko needs to run, he needs to operate. The league in which they play hasn't necessarily over time generated a lot of money. We understand that the clubs were paid some amounts of like $1 million at the start of the season, but most clubs are owing a lot of money. If the money hits accounts, they will tell you, if you talk to them, they have deductions that are going to go. So the club needs to keep running. Kotoko is about the highest paid club in the country.
Yeah.
So
Highest paying, you mean?
Highest paying club in the country. I mean, so they need to keep the club running. And for the player himself, Albert Amoah, if the numbers we are seeing is what it is, and you ask and you ask the player, would you stay at Kotoko?
It's not a question, bro.
Or would you live? Or somebody's passionate, is loving them. He will play for Kotoko for free.
Who?
I don't know. I mean, maybe somebody loves the club, is going to play for the club for free. But if he was pocketing $200,000 on signing on fee, and it's going to earn $20,000 every month
As salary
from what he was making from Kotoko, that is like probably times 100 or something.
That's crazy.
And so it will be impossible then for the player to turn the deal down. Look, this is not different from if the numbers are true, it's not different from how the Saudi Pro League has attracted so many players from mainstream Europe to come and play for them. Because you think they are playing for some of the biggest clubs in mainstream Europe. But Saudis come in and they offer them contracts and they're like, there's no way I can reject this. And so if a team from Libya is paying the amount of money we've heard that are going to pay for the young man, I guarantee you he's going to take the move. He's going to back himself and go for the money. And if they are paying him $200,000 in signing on fee, you can only imagine how much the club Kotoko will make from that deal.
Kotoko should just close that one. You see, why is that particular? Because they don't pay the 10% to the FA.
No, the deal sheet will go to the FA. The FA will see all that information.
So they should reveal the information.
Well, I mean, we've seen on this
because Kotoko can come and tell us that the transfer fee was less than the signing on fee. And also, I
don't believe that. It's not possible. He's not a free player. Come on. So the fans can be angry, agitated. It's genuine. But the management and what they are saying is a fact.
Yeah.
Kotoko needs to run, and they need the money to run. And the only way they can get those monies coming through is when they sell some of their best players, unfortunately.
That is crazy. Let's talk about House of Folk. For the first time in, how many games? Clean Sheet has finally conceded a goal. And he did it twice. Over. 2-2 draw between House of Folk and you know, and you see, for me, like it's when I wear the highlights, drop them. For me, it's not even the fact that he conceded 2 goals in that particular game. So they would go on to win the game, but they didn't. They ended up conceding and then drawing by 2-2. But the focus has been on Asare and the goals that he's conceded. Sicho, I mean, it's normal, right? Every goalkeeper concedes goals.
Yeah, for me, when a goalkeeper concedes a goal, you're looking at if it is the fault of the goalkeeper. If it's not a mistake from the goalkeeper leading to the goal, then you can look at how the team defended that. Again, I thought it was poorly defended by Hartlepool. I didn't think that Asare could have done any better in stopping those goals, especially the second one. I mean, he does the right thing to come and guard the first post. The ball comes across the face of goal, and the ball is tapped in slowly to the far stick. I mean, it's almost impossible for any goalkeeper to recover from the first post to the last post in that split second. But I can understand why, people want to make the most of it, because when he's kept a clean sheet, people have made the most of that as well. So now that he's conceded, people are asking, is that the same guy who's keeping the clean sheets? And so on and so forth. But of course, the technical team would know that they would know if it's a goalkeeping error or it's a goal the goalkeeper couldn't have done much about. And I don't think that there are any concerns about Benjamin Asare. The concern would be for Hartlepool on how poorly they defended those situations from those 2 goals.
Lawrence, you have any thoughts on Benjamin clean sheet Asare? In the week when he conceded 2, TZG was also doing wonders. That goalkeeping situation, that debate is going to run on probably until the very last day, the very day they named the squad.
No, until after the World Cup, because even during the World Cup, whoever is...
That's right.
People will be judging every single detail about them, so yeah.
I think sometimes it's okay to allow some of these commentaries to run over on social media. Look, you go through social media and what you don't expect to be the topic, what you are looking at people analyzing the team's performance, and Asare becomes the topic. It has become the topic, as Sicho said, it has become the topic because whenever he's kept a clean sheet, it has also become a topic on social media. So
I mean, Sijo, what this goal? What do you mean is not his fault? Like, couldn't he have done something here?
No, I don't
he looked completely lost.
No, he wasn't lost. He did, if you go back, he did the right thing. As the boy is coming from that.
This is the other one.
This is the second goal. Look at where he is. First pull, goalkeeper has to be there. The boy goes to the far
Yeah,
stick.
but it looked like he was diving in slow motion.
Look, the ball is going into the far post. The ball almost kisses the net before the side of the net before it ends.
Yeah.
That is how far wide the ball goes. Look at where he is. Good positioning. There's no way he saves
So
it.
you should die faster.
And he can't save it still. I mean, for me, I don't know what people are look at that. There's no
Sijo,
way
do you know
he saves it.
Okra?
Sicho talks about the trajectory of him moving from the first post to the last post.
Yeah.
And that's on that occasion, I thought that's way too much for him to do to keep that one out of position. So it's more of a defensive issue than just blaming Asare for that goal considered by Hatofuk.
Okay, interesting thought. All right, guys. So that's the lowdown on the Ghana Premier League as far as the folk are concerned. And it's a Ghana Stars Media Match. This is a table. Media Match still riding pretty at the top of the table with 16 points. Ghana just behind. Heart of Lions. I like the teams at the top, Sicho, right? Yeah. Very competitive, traditional campaigners with experienced managers.
Eric Becker is doing very well with Samatex.
Yes, he is. But there was drama in Nations. They won their game, right, by 3-2, and they still sacked Cassie Mingle and his assistant. I don't know what the story is there. As far as that game is concerned, BPN Gold Stars, but we'll see. I'm sure it will unravel in the next few days. But every time, there's always drama in some of these matches. What we're going to do now is take another break. But I've got lots of your messages on our WhatsApp number, 551-575757. Your bonus issues. And then, of course, Albert Amwa, Asante Kotoko, and Benjamin Asari's 2 goals conceded. Poor goals to concede or poor defending. I don't know which school of thoughts you belong to. It's just much ado about nothing, really. I'm interested in your thoughts. Or if you prefer X or Twitter, leave me a message there. Use the hashtag SportsZone. After the break, we're going straight into the Premier League, La Liga, and some NBA action. There's still plenty to come, plus the Ghanaian Players Abroad segment here on the show. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. This is Sports Zone on Joy Prime. We're live until 10:30 p.m., bringing you the very best analysis from the weekend sports in action. I'm here with Sicho Philip Atrim and Karim Adamu Benning. Adamu Benning Abdul Karim is here with Ghanaian Players Abroad. But before we go to him, let me read a few messages here. Good evening, friend. I have a lot to say about the abysmal performances of Chelsea on Saturday, but I'm not in the mood. I want to use this opportunity to wish my lovely wife, Delali, a speedy recovery. This is from Francis inside Sugakope. Francis, you and me both, eh? You and me both. And no good cry. Good evening, I'm Strongman Fuzi from Wadondoli Kotia family. I want you to keep doing your good works. I want to give a shout out to all Arsenal fans out there and also fans of Accra House of Hope. Not to forget, you say, how was your journey overseas? My journey overseas was great. Thank you. Kalala in Mankasim says, Master, please, where are our female vice presidents? Where is our female vice president of Ghana? Come out, our mother, and help our daughters. Interesting message from Kalala. This one says, some people want to roast the sports minister pound, all the same. We are grateful for peace at last. Bright from Pandu sent that message. This one is from Mutala, who says, I'm glad you guys are fully back. Good evening to you. Is Man United's team in proper shape now? I'm asking you guys the question. Okay, Joseph from Bandi says, hi guys, very good evening to you all. This is always the moment we have been waiting for. Sports Zone. Hala Madrid, congratulations to the fans across the globe. This win meant everything to us. As a matter of fact, we remain the record setters. Friend, please, you people should tell the sports minister and his people to pay the Black Queens their bonuses, and you say hi to Uncle Karim and Danny K. Joseph, thanks for your message. Emmanuel is watching us all the way from Cotonou, Benin. He says, good evening, men of sports. Congratulations to my club, Arsenal, for another win and clean sheet They've shown the title-winning mentality. For Liverpool, I knew that they will have a bad run. It's time to expose and slot, he says. He won the league with club squad, wasted 500 million on flop players, and allowed key players like Diaz and Trent to leave. And you say, poor team selection, misusing a player like Chiesa, always making excuses after losing matches. And, oh, what do I care? Let them continue this way as long as Arsenal wins. Emmanuel in Cotonou, thanks for your message. Pa in Awushi says, good evening to you, Fent, and the team. This is not the first bonus debacle as far as the Queens are concerned. My question is, until when? This team on an upward trajectory and doesn't need these kinds of distractions. Anyways, I must commend Anslot for his brilliant work, especially in the press conferences. Asu is proud of him. Castro Steve from China says, good evening, Sports Zone. Oh, Kotoko, why? He says, the second leg was very bad. You could see the players were not concentrated and gave up very early. Even China Catholic stars would have performed better. And he said, greetings to all Chelsea fans in China. Castro Steve, thank you for your message. Pato Laundry Service is the biggest House of Folk fan I know. Pato says, in fact, House of Folk defenders didn't help us yesterday against Gold Stars. And the strikers should be up and doing. We have to win the league to represent Ghana in Africa. And he says, congrats to WAC of Oak supporters for helping beat Kotoko. Pato. Interesting. Super is watching us live from Kadea in northern Ghana and just says, hi, Fentu. Okay. Thank you, Super, for watching. This one says, I'm Nana Jemmy, a.k.a. DFF, and I'm watching with my beautiful wife. Why? And my beautiful wife is called Erica. Oh, Erica, you swore there. Manininje, make him happy, okay? I want to wish my wife a happy marriage anniversary. Oh, I love her, Papa. Still, Erica Fatana na. Oh, Chale. Oh, Chale. Erica Fatana now, Pa. Erica Fatana now, Pa. All right. Amazing stuff, amazing messages. Keep them coming, 0551575757. Big shout also goes out to Enoch of Accra Girls watching the show as well. Listen, Karim, let's come back to you then. Welcome to the show. Ghanaian players abroad, everybody is playing in their way into the Ghana squad. Before you even go on, Karim, I read news this morning that Yaya Boah has been suspended in the MLS along with another player from Columbus Crew. What do we know? What's happening there?
Well, the MLS, they released a statement just stating that Yaya Boah and another player from Columbus Crew, Yaya Boah now plays for Los Angeles FC. And the thing is that they just said he has been placed on an administrative leave and will not be eligible to play for Los Angeles FC in the playoffs. So until the matter is determined for breaching MLS rules. That those MLS rules, we don't know which of them that is, but it looks like it's a big case for him.
They haven't come out to explain why.
Why, yeah.
They've just said that they've been placed on administration. Very interesting. You're former under-20 captain, of course. But what else do you have for us this weekend?
Well, some days are not for talking, it's just for action. So the thing is that I'm not going to focus a lot on the team of the week today, but I'm just going to touch on some players that have done, especially we were just talking about the Black Stars goalkeeping situation, and every weekend something interesting happens in a goalkeeping situation. And I have Joseph Annan in goal. He plays for St. Patrick's in Ireland, and they drew 1-1 against Waterford. But if you are looking at his performance in that game, he made 4 saves in that game and prevented 1.5 goals. That is like averagely 2 goals he prevented in that game. So if not for his saves in that game, they would have been conceding like 3 goals in that game, and which would have resulted in a loss. But for Lawrence Atiziga as well, he kept a clean sheet for St. Gallen, and they won 5-0 against Grasshoppers, and they are just 1 point behind the league leaders, that is Stan in the Swiss league. But if you are looking at it, he's always concedes a lot of goals and people are talking. And he makes a lot of saves as well when he concedes. But in this particular game, he made just 1 save. And if you are looking at expected goals on target faced, just 0.17, it means that all the shots that he faced in goal, just 17%, there was a 70% chance that he was going to concede in that game. So it looks like this time around his defense is helping him out, and he kept clean sheet in that game. Then I'll just touch on Edmond Bedu. Last week I mentioned and showed a video of him scoring for RSB Salzburg, and his last 3 games now, he has either scored or assisted 2 goals and 1 assist. And over the weekend, RSB Salzburg, they won 3-0 against Austria Vienna, and in that game he provided an assist. Then this guy is a player I'm always interested in seeing when he's about to play. That's Prince Edu Kabna. He used to play for...
Didn't you interview him before?
Yes, I interviewed him before he left for Europe, and now he plays for Victoria.
Does he still reply your text?
Oh, actually, we text. We text.
Ah, okay.
Yes, we do. Please, in that place.
You know, he was very promising when he came up.
Yes.
Remember,
Yeah.
under 20, and he missed out on one of our under 20 tournament because of a very bad injury. The team that won the under 20 AFCON, he was a part of that particular team. Didn't go to the AFCON because he suffered a big injury.
That is the one that they won, the 2021
Yes,
one.
that's the one I'm referring to. He suffered a big injury during the Premier League season with Manchester United and never made it. I felt
And
really...
around that same time, he also got a Black Stars call-up.
He did.
A few things came up. I don't know what happened. There was no...
It was one of those players you knew was promising. I mean, I
Yes.
ran commentary on him when I was working in the Ghana Premier League. Very excited.
And he passed on to the team as a teenager.
Yeah, good to see him do well.
Then Manu Dia, he plays for San Diego. They made history, played in their first ever MLS playoff game, and they won 2-1 against Portland. And Manu Dia was one of the key players for them. He was so versatile. He can play as a centre-back, play as right-back, and play as a midfielder as well. Then Musa Mohamed plays for Boardroom, and they won 2-0 against Udre. That is in the Turkish second tier, and in that game, he was the player to complete the most passes. Then Leonardo Usi plays with Wology, and they play in the same team. That is Fredrikstad, and they won. They drew their game goalless, but Leonardo Usi is a veteran, like 28. In that game, he completed the most passes. He played as a defensive midfielder, actually, but he's so versatile enough to play as a central midfielder. And in that game, he completed 68 passes. That is the most in the game. Then Brandon Thomas Asante, he's a man on form. In the last 4 games he has played, he has scored 6 goals, scored 2 braces in those 4 games. And now he's top of the championship scoring chart with 9 goals.
Wow.
And his team as well, that is Coventry, they're also top of the championship. So it means that things are shaping up nicely for Frank Lampard and his team. He's always had a lot of good words for Brandon Thomas Asante. Now, I'm just going to move forward and look at a player that is also promising. The last week, I showed a goal of him. And in this midweek, that is against Slavia Prague in the Conference League, he came off the bench to score for Rijeka. He now plays for Rijeka, but I'm just going to look at his profile, where he was born, and this is his full name, Daniel William Kwabena Edu Eje, was born in 2005, that is in London, and he's a forward. He can basically plays as a number 9, and now for Rijeka, they play in a 2-forward system, and he's partnering a forward for that 2-forward system. Yes, these are clubs he has previously played for. There are no dates as to when he played for the youth teams of Brentford and Fulham, but he joined Bournemouth in 2021 and has been with them until he left for Rijeka.
Bibi Semenyo.
Yes. But a player that is actually so close to Semenyo, I think, is Brandon Thomas Asante. You know, how they are all coming up through the lower leagues. Yeah, but let's talk about Daniel Edu. This season, since he moved to Rijeka, that is in Croatia, he has played 9 games for them, starting about just 3 games, and has scored 4 goals and provided 1 assist. If you are looking at his minutes per game, it's looking like 107 minutes he's scoring a goal for them. And
that's almost a goal every game.
Yes, every 90 minutes he has played. If he was starting, it means that he would have been chalking up more minutes, but his overall minutes is just like 430 minutes in those 9 games he has played. And the goal he scored in the Europe Conference League against Sparta Prague, he came off the bench and scored the winning goal for them in the conference. I'm just going to show 2 clips of how good he is when he has space and even in tight spaces. So this is the first one. So this is his 3rd league game, I think. And this is just like a lot of space for him to run into, see how he's going into some players when they see space. He's not afraid to take on his opponents, cut into the right foot.
That's a good finish.
Yes, score. So when in tight spaces, he's good. But when he has the space as well, he's not afraid to take on the player. And when he goes in and he's allowed to cut onto that right foot, he's so good to execute the shots as well. So let me just look at the second clip as well. This is it. In tight spaces, this is him running into his man. Look at his positioning. He's not getting out of marking very well that he's not getting offsided. And look at him. A lot of people in the box, but still he found a way to get some space and put the ball away. He's a player I'm really excited to see what he can do. Maybe, and he's one of those players that they are saying, oh, he just declared his wish to play for Ghana, but not before the World Cup. He did that before the World Cup qualifiers. That's like in preseason when he was scoring for Bournemouth in the US during the preseason tour. There was not so much opportunity for him to play for the first team, and he decided that going away would help him develop more. And now it is paying off for him after just 9 games in the Croatian league. And we know Rijeka, they are capable of developing players, and he's doing that for them. And he's playing in Europe as well. 9 games, just about 3 starts, and he has 4 goals and 1 assist. So
let's keep that name in our mind.
Daniel Edwege.
He said we shouldn't laugh at him again because the last time
We've learned our lessons.
we learned our lesson, exactly.
He's an interesting talent.
We've learned our lesson. Thank you,
We've learned our
Karim.
lessons.
Thank you, Karim. Very interesting stuff. So, but he's only 20 years old.
Yeah.
So, you know, he doesn't even necessarily need to play for Ghana before the World Cup or whatever. But it's just a player to
So the interesting thing about today's team is that if you are looking at those center forward positions, we are lucky. You see that in the current team, we don't have those natural center forwards. Edwege is a natural center forward. Prince Edu Kabna is a natural center forward who have put in the number 9 position here. Then Edmond Beidu is also primarily the center forward position, but also versatile enough. They play in a 2 forward system. That is like almost all the 3 forwards I'm talking to about. Prince Edu Kabna, Edmond Beidu, and then Daniel Edwege.
You just have an impression that the players that will get crushed that World Cup squad. It always happens.
Yeah, I think we have a more settled squad now, and Otto will be mindful not to necessarily disrupt the core of the team. But
There will be some gate crashes.
yeah, 1 or 2 BD, I mean, you know.
There will be some gate crashes. There's always gate crashes.
No, there's always one,
Yeah.
a couple of players who...
Okay, we're going to take another break. When we come back, straight to Europe, where we've got quite a number of highlights to show you. And that's the lowdown from the Premier League. So Liverpool losing a 4th consecutive Premier League game. And this time around, they lost. Oh, my God. What is going on? I think that's the ultimate question. Look at this. Look at those 4 matches. All right. Now, this is the last 4 matches in all competitions, obviously. There's 1 win in there. But if you go back to their last 4 games in the Premier League alone, they've lost every single one of them. And that is crazy to think about. They lost to Palace, they lost to Chelsea, lost to Man United, and now Brentford. And in between that, they only won 1 game against Frankfurt. Sicho, last season, you were a big supporter of Ancelotti. What has gone wrong? Last week, you explained a little bit of what's happening, but why is it so difficult for him to fix?
Well, yes, last season I'm still a big fan of Ancelotti. But at the start of the season, even before the ball was kicked, I could see the problems. And it all came down to Liverpool's transfer dealings. Many people were praising the transfer dealings, but I thought the profile of players that Liverpool had let go, they were not replacing them. And it's simply because Liverpool don't have enough firepower in terms of energy and the legs that can compete. Liverpool look a bit weak. And the back line, though, is not necessarily protected by the midfield that did a lot of that from last season. And that midfield was also helped by how the front line could deal with opponents as well. So the team is a bit disjointed. And it hasn't also been held by the consistent failure in getting results. Now, confidence becomes an issue for players when they are not scoring, when they are not winning games. So things that were little cracks now become open because now the players don't have the confidence. So I think that they've got good players, brought in good signings. But as a collective, when you need to find a way to play Vets, when you need to find a place to play Szoboszlai because he's your best midfielder, Gravenberch has to play, McAllister has quality, it doesn't fit. When you need to also play Cody Gakpo, Ekitike, and Mohamed Salah, something has to give. And in this case, what has to give is Salah having to stay wide because Ekitike will occupy the number 9 row and central row. Mo Salah can't come as close and into the in behind the striker because that's where Vets will be or the number 10 will be. The problems in the Liverpool team is beginning to look like it's a lot, but they've got enough quality to turn this around. I think Arne Slot has to change something about his team.
Yeah. Question for you. At what point, we see the chatter on social media, some of the Liverpool fans, but at what point do you think there would be a realistic reason to start to shout about having a rethink about Arne Slot? Because there are 4 Premier League defeats in a row. Ordinarily, for any big team, it looks quite serious, but it's Liverpool, they've won the league, he has some credit to his name. At what point, if he doesn't turn this around, would we... Because, I mean, another 3 losses in a row and the league is over.
It could be soon. It really could. Only a couple of weeks ago, Jurgen Klopp granted an interview, and when he was asked if he would be open to returning to Liverpool, his answer was quite positive. He was leaning towards more of yes than no. And now we also hear the rumor that Arne Slot's contract negotiation has stalled, or Liverpool have put a pause to it. So all of that suggests that they are not too sure if the man could see them through to the end of the season. And if Liverpool do realize that Arsenal are pulling away fast, and top 4 is becoming increasingly difficult for them to achieve, I think they could pull the plug. Because they've invested a lot of money, and the money they've invested, it would be disastrous if Liverpool are not making the top 4. So that is where I think the club will be gauging. If it's good enough to compete, make top 4, they'll keep him. But if it's beginning to look like that is getting away from him, I think they'll put the plug.
At the moment, it's 7 points, so we'll see how they can plug that hole. Let's talk about Arsenal now. And then we'll talk about Man United too. Arsenal this season they're barely winning the games. And I say barely because they're not blowing the teams apart, but they're finding ways to win. Look at this. Look, in terms of total number of goals this season, they're ranked 4th. Set piece goals, they're ranked 1st. Yeah. Open play goals, they're ranked 17th. They've only scored 5 goals from open play, and they were expected to score 7.8 goals. It's not... Look at the percentage of goals from open play, 31%. They are the last team in terms of percentage of goals from open play. They're finding ways to win without necessarily scoring from open play. Is this a problem or is this an opportunity?
I think it's a problem because Arsenal are winning games, but they are a very effective unit. They are a very functional team, very, very difficult to crack down. And I think that is why people say that defense win championship because they are spells like this. At the moment, Arteta will look at the data and be thinking, we're not scoring enough goals like we should be scoring, even though we are winning. He will be desperately hoping to fix that because he won't always get the goals from set piece. At the moment, it's working, but it can dry up. And when that dries up, you need to find the opening goal scoring in open play. So he'll be desperately looking to solve that. But at the moment, though, the fact that they are not conceding goals and when they need to find a goal to win a game, they are finding it. Is good enough for them to continue building on.
United hadn't won 2 games in a row ever since Ruben Amorim walked in. They've done it 3 times, 3 in a row now. And that last game against Brighton, they didn't just win. It was very stylish. The goals were beautiful. What has changed about this United team?
Right. So when the season started, Ruben Amorim's team was too expansive. And I think I spoke about it here. The distances between the players were too wide. Yeah. Even the back 3 players, the distance between Shaw, De Ligt, and Euro, whoever he played, was just too wide. In the middle of the park as well, Bruno Fernandes and whoever he partnered was too wide. Because Dogu would go so high up the pitch, and at times he would even invert and come into the box. And then his wide players or his forward, the 2 number 10s as well, were not close enough to the striker. So the spaces in the team was too wide, even on the ball and off the ball. So when teams won the ball off them, they were easy to run through. And even when they had the ball, they had to take too much risk in finding the next pass because of the distance. But in the last couple of games, the team has become a bit more narrow. When you watch Man United play these days, it's almost like the whole team is congested in the middle of the park.
Like a straight line.
Yeah, so and they forfeited the wing play. Yeah. They desperately want to go out and defend, but predominantly they are narrowed the game into the middle. And that helps because straight away, Bruno Fernandes, who's playing centrally, has bodies around him. True. He has bodies in front of him.
In the last goal.
And somebody behind him. And also what that has done also is to bring Cunha and Mbeumo close to goal. So Mbeumo at the start of the season was receiving a lot of the ball from long diagonal switches when he was hugging the line. Yeah. This time around, he's receiving a lot of the passes on the edge or in the box because the team is playing a bit more compact and a bit more narrow. And I think that is why I'm beginning to find them finding short passes, little passes, and when they lose the ball, they can also quickly get in. One more thing, the back line have been very aggressive on the front foot. They are not free to get straight and stuck into their man rather than sitting off and waiting for the ball to come. So those are the little things that has changed. It still needs perfecting because we've seen teams still finding holes in between them, but they look a lot more better.
That's very brilliantly explained. Let's wrap up with El Clásico. We have just about a minute. When I rolled the footage, Lamine Yamal, he's quite a troublesome kid, isn't he? Real Madrid have broken a jinx now. 4 defeats in a row. They have finally got the victory. But the drama that unfolded, I mean, this finish, which ended up being offside. I mean,
fortunately, it was
man for the big occasion, yeah?
Yeah. But yeah, we saw the signs. Last season, the goal that Mbappe scored, we saw the signs from last season.
The offside,
plenty. It actually scored another one that was offside in this game. But the goal that was taken, you saw him making the run from deep. Yeah. When the back line is high, you make the run from deep. You are most often going to be on the edge of the last man before the pass comes through. And that was a good thing. For me, Barcelona have not been in form coming into this game. And the Real Madrid just had enough physicality and enough desire to want to win the game.
Lamine Yamal, somebody needs to punch him, man.
Oh, he's a young
kid. He said, let's go to the tunnel.
Let's go to the tunnel.
Like, who can he beat in the tunnel?
Did he just say, let's go? No, if he beats him, child abuse.
You bow. Charlie Sicho, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
For holding the fort today. That's our show for tonight. Sports Zone, proudly brought to you by Piva Beverages, producers of Game Energy Drink, as well as Guinness. My name is Fentu Tahiru Fentu. Show produced by Benaya Dafia Makpo and Joseph Ayinga Walter. We are back again next Monday. Until then, you take care of yourself and bye-bye.